Early in the race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this past weekend, something happened that stopped NASCAR fans cold. Shane Van Gisbergen got pushed up the track following contact with Erik Jones, the kind of contact where experienced viewers already know what's coming next: a spin, a crash, a ruined race day. Except none of that happened. The car snapped loose, sliding across multiple lanes with traffic moving at full speed all around him, and instead of the disaster that should have followed, Van Gisbergen gathered it up and kept going like nothing had occurred. That single moment became the defining highlight of his entire weekend, and it immediately reignited a conversation that has been building since this Australian driver first showed up on oval tracks and started making veterans look sideways at each other. To understand why that save meant so much, you have to break it down piece by piece. When the car snapped loose after contact with Jones, SVG was not in a controlled slide, he was in genuine danger, with cars threading through at racing speed and zero margin for error. The instinct that separates elite oval racers from everyone else in that situation is the ability to not overcorrect. Most drivers, when they feel the rear step out that aggressively, fight the wheel too hard and make everything worse. Van Gisbergen did not do that. He managed the inputs, kept his composure, and there was also a fortunate element: Chase Brisco threading through on the bottom at exactly the right moment actually helped push the car back into line. What looked terrifying from the outside resolved itself with no spin and barely any damage. He rejoined the race as if it were a routine moment on a Tuesday test day. The broader significance of that save goes well beyond the highlight reel. Van Gisbergen has been building his oval credentials since he transitioned from the international circuit, where he was a dominant force in Australian supercars, and moments like this one are exactly why NASCAR insiders and fans have been paying serious attention to his development. Oval racing is its own discipline: the physics, the tire management, the drafting dynamics, the wall proximity, and drivers who come from road course backgrounds have historically struggled to adapt quickly. SVG has not struggled. He has accelerated. That save at Las Vegas was not luck. It was the product of hands that have been learning and adapting at a rate that genuinely surprises people who have watched this sport for decades. It is also worth noting, with full honesty, that the rest of his day went badly. Car balance never came together the way the team needed, he fell multiple laps down as the race progressed, and frustration was building inside that garage. That is the brutal side of NASCAR: you can execute something legendary, produce a moment that will be clipped and replayed for years, and still walk away with a result that hurts. The sport does not hand out consolation prizes for beautiful car control. The historical comparison here is worth making, because SVG's save belongs in a specific category of moments that fans carry with them for a long time. At Las Vegas in 2009, Jaime McMurray was in a nearly identical situation. Tony Stewart got into his left rear, the car went completely sideways through turn 1, and McMurray simply drifted it. A full corner. No crash. No catastrophic contact. Just instinct and car control operating at a level that seemed almost disconnected from normal physics. That moment has lived in the memory of NASCAR fans for over 15 years, referenced every time someone wants to illustrate what elite-level oval composure looks like. Van Gisbergen's save at Las Vegas this weekend just earned its place in that same conversation. And as a footnote that somehow fits the weekend perfectly, a safety truck driver on Friday during practice was fishtailing a Ram truck down the front straight and managed to save it too. Something about Las Vegas Motor Speedway apparently brings out the drift artists in everyone. Now the tone of this story shifts completely, because the second major storyline from Sunday's race at Las Vegas is not about car control or highlight reel moments. It is about a man, about family, about grief, and about deciding to show up anyway. In the fall of last year, right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Denny Hamlin won his 60th career race in NASCAR's Cup Series. He dedicated that victory to his father. It was already a meaningful moment, the kind of milestone win that connects a career achievement to something personal and human. Then the off-season arrived, and it brought things that had nothing to do with racing. Hamlin lost the championship in a painful way. And then, far worse, he lost his father in a house fire. That is not a racing story. That is a life story. Hamlin said publicly that it took him weeks to even feel like getting back behind the wheel, and there is an important honesty in that admission that deserves to be acknowledged directly. Then Sunday happened. Denny Hamlin did not just show up at Las Vegas. He raced. And he won. Career victory number 61. The first win of the 2026 NASCAR season. At the same track where he had dedicated win number 60 to the man he just lost. The weight of that symmetry is not something that needs to be dramatized, because the facts themselves carry everything. But the win was not handed to him, and the race itself was far from straightforward. In Stage 2, Hamlin was caught speeding on pit road and sent straight to the back of the field. In modern NASCAR, a pit road speeding penalty at that stage of a race is typically a death sentence for your result. The gap to the front is too large, the competition too deep, and the laps too few to recover what you've lost. Hamlin did not fold. He reset, refocused, and in the final stage he began carving through the field, not desperately, not recklessly, but deliberately and methodically. To walk through the full race properly, Stage 1 saw Hamlin take the early lead from Christopher Bell. Bell eventually wrestled control back, working through traffic efficiently, moving all the way up to 21st place before cycling to the front and winning Stage 1. Joe Gibbs Racing looked fast early and showed the kind of speed that makes them difficult to bet against on long runs. Stage 2 shifted the dynamic. Hendrick Motorsports answered with pace of their own, but chaos began to spread across the field. Both Ty Gibbs and Denny Hamlin were hit with speeding penalties and sent to the back simultaneously. Christopher Bell, suddenly finding himself as the de facto leader for JGR, had to hold off Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and William Byron at the same time, three-wide racing with genuine stakes and no room for error. Byron ultimately took the Stage 2 win, but the race was getting complicated and expensive for multiple teams. Kyle Busch hit the wall, then made contact with Larson in what appeared to be frustration. Penalties were stacking up across the field. Gilliland, Berry, and Hosvar all took penalties of their own. The pit road was becoming as dangerous as the racetrack. The final stage is where Hamlin flipped the switch. He worked through the field with the patience of a driver who has won 61 races in this series and knows exactly how to manage his equipment, his tires, and his position simultaneously. He took the lead, briefly lost it to Byron in traffic as lane choices shuffled, and then the race's only natural caution flew. Connor Zilisch spun while avoiding Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and the field compressed for a restart that would effectively decide the outcome. Christopher Bell won the pit cycle off pit road under that caution. Chase Brisco, who had spent an extraordinary 172 laps off the lead lap, received the free pass and charged hard toward the front, making the final restart even more chaotic and competitive. When the green flag dropped, Hamlin drove past his own JGR teammate, reclaimed the lead, and this time he did not give it back. Chase Elliott tried everything in the closing laps. He closed the gap, applied pressure, and gave Hamlin a genuine challenge in the final miles. It was not enough. Hamlin won. Elliott finished second. William Byron third. Christopher Bell fourth. Ty Gibbs fifth. Butcher, Larson, Brisco, Bubba Wallace, and Kenseth rounded out the top 10. The post-race period added one more layer to an already dense afternoon. Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain were involved in a post-race confrontation. These are former teammates with history between them, and whatever occurred in that moment made it clear that the situation is not resolved. That storyline is not finished. Stepping back from the individual moments and looking at what this opening stretch of the 2026 season is actually showing, Hamlin has a win and has demonstrated that Joe Gibbs Racing has genuine speed. Hendrick Motorsports looked strong in Stage 2 and showed that Byron, Larson, and Elliott are all capable of winning on any given Sunday. 23XI Racing is sitting in the mix and cannot be dismissed. The field is stacked in a way that makes predicting the playoff picture genuinely difficult at this point in the year. Van Gisbergen continues to add chapters to his oval development story. A bad finish does not erase a save that will be discussed alongside McMurray's 2009 Las Vegas drift for years to come. His trajectory on ovals is one of the more compelling individual storylines in this sport right now, and the drivers around him have clearly taken notice. Two completely different kinds of stories came out of the same afternoon at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this past Sunday. One was about reflexes and talent operating under impossible pressure at racing speed. The other was about a human being deciding to come back, to compete, and to win while carrying a loss that has nothing to do with horsepower or pit strategy. Both of them are real. Both of them matter. And both of them are going to stay with the people who watched this race for a long time. If this race resonated with you, tell us in the comments which moment hit harder, SVG's save or Hamlin's win. Every comment gets read. This channel is being built for real fans of this sport. Our goal is to push toward 10,000 subscribers, and if you love NASCAR the way we do, subscribing and hitting the like button takes 5 seconds and keeps this content coming. See you at the next one.